Now is Democratic Congressman Gregory Meeks of New York. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Good being with you.
I know that you want the Attorney General to take a closer look at what happened in that jury room. We know that they needed just 12 votes for a decision in that 23-member grand jury panel. We still don't know what the instructions were, and the evidence has not been disclosed at this point. What are you looking for as it relates to answers that can come from the Department of Justice?
You know, I'm still stunned because when you look at the videotape itself, when you look at the fact that there's no question that he violated police procedures by utilizing a chokehold, when you look at the fact that the medical examiner said that it was a homicide, to me, that alone is enough to give any prosecutor the wherewithal to get a grand jury indictment. And so I'm baffled. And the only thing that I can think of is I would like to hear the charges that the prosecutor, or the instructions that he gave the jury to make their determination. So I know that you can instruct the jury in such a manner that you can't return an indictment, and so that needs to be looked at. So I want to see what took place, whether or not anytime you have a defendant testifying before the grand jury, that person should be cross-examined by the people's attorney, which would be the prosecutor. Was he, and you had enough from what I've heard of his testimony to contradict what he said by simply looking at the tape. So it's just preposterous to me how you have a no true bill given this scenario. So I hope that the Attorney General's office looks at what took place in the grand jury room, because there's got to be a problem therein.
And you've made the point that the grand jury, their role or their job is not to determine guilty or not guilty. It is probable cause here. And this is also of a great concern to you. And this is something you and I discussed here on the show as it related to the Darren Wilson case in Ferguson. What is the role of the grand jury, and are prosecutors failing the system and failing the American people by not carrying out their role properly in both of these cases, not allowing a jury to make the final decision here and using the grand jury as a trial jury?
Well, that's absolutely correct, because you don't have to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt in a grand jury. And in fact, you don't present the entire case before the grand jury. The prosecutor just generally presents his case in the grand jury. And if anybody else wants to get in there, they can only do that with the prosecutor's permission, and generally when they waive any protection that they may have. So this is just unreal. And then when I look at this case, and we were just talking about this on the House floor, and when you think about the fact that this DA had no problem, the only person that was indicted in this matter was the person that took the video of the incident. He was the one that was, he didn't have any problem indicting that individual. So something is systematically wrong with what took place with this DA and in that grand jury room.
As it's been noted, unlike in the case with Mike Brown, you've seen, if you monitor social media traffic, a number of conservatives and Republicans who are outraged, equally outraged as you and Democrats and liberals are. But there is one individual who stuck out in the minds of many today, New York Republican Congressman, your colleague Peter King. Here's what he had to say yesterday on CNN regarding this case.
You had a 350-pound person who was resisting arrest. The police were trying to bring him down as quickly as possible. If he had not had asthma and a heart condition and was so obese that almost definitely he would not have died from this, the police had no reason to know that he was in serious condition. I know people were saying that he said 11 times or 7 times, I can't breathe. Well, the fact is, if you can't breathe, you can't talk.
Your response to that, Congressman Meeks?
Number one, Peter King was dead wrong. There has been medical testimony showing that when you talk, you know, when you're being strangled, you can speak out. It's hard to get air back in. So that's number one. So he's dead wrong. And you know what? What I'd like to focus on is those individuals that were in the street last night in New York. They were black, they were white, they were Hispanic, they were, you know, from all different parts of the world who stood together. I was proud of the New York delegation when Joe Crowley and Jerry Nadler and Elliot Ingalls spoke out. This is not just, so it's all of us coming together. And so Peter's statements completely were wrong and I think out of order.
Thank you so much, Congressman Meeks, for your time. We greatly appreciate it. I'm sure we'll be speaking with you very soon, sir. Thank you.